live, because right now we are live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So we've got everything together right now. Soon to be TikTok and the rest of them. So I finally got the information to go live on those things. So I'm going to start doing that. And let me see it. Let me make sure everything is working, because Martha showed up on time. Well, she always show up on time. There's nothing new about that. So let me not get in trouble with her already, because sometimes I do some things by mistake. No, I don't. I do it just to get some attention. If y'all believe that, then y'all something else. I don't do that at all. Good morning, Miss Rice. Good morning.
Good morning. I was on mute.
That's okay. So I was telling everybody before that normally we have a guest on, but we decided to talk about the goals we set a year ago. Because Martha and I sat down, we talked how things were going. Oh my Lord! Oh, when is this going to ever happen? When things going to pick up? And so basically, we will give you an update on how things are going. And
Yes, we are.
I would say for Martha, she has really shattered the ceiling on the way I'm thinking on things that she's doing. With a black woman entrepreneur and the things she's doing. I mean, she's doing a phenomenal job on her podcast and everything that she's doing. And back then I was going to say she's a force to be reckoned with, but she's a force to be reckoned with right now. I'm letting y'all know that right now. There's no yesterday. There's no tomorrow. She's a future on what's going to happen later on to anybody else who listened to her story. So I'm going to let her go ahead and tell her story on how we started back in January until now.
You
Of
want me to
last year.
tell
I'm
it or
talking
you?
about not this
Yeah.
year, but January last year.
See,
2023.
now you pulling on my old strings. No, I gotta remember. No, I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, we had goals. I know I had goals to, you know, not only I was changing my podcast actually from Mondays with Coach Rice to casting the net. And I'll tell you how that happened really quick. First, I hired a speaker coach. Her name was Summer Day. She said, Martha, I like Mondays with I like Mondays with Coach Rice, but you need a tagline. And I said, a tagline. What's that? And she said something that tell you what your podcast is about, right? And so I was like kind of thinking about it, but not thinking about it. And then one day somebody called me and said, you need to read this scripture. It was in Luke chapter 5, I believe, where it talks about when he told Peter to cast the net to the other side. So I said, okay, let me check it out. In my devotion, my morning devotion, I sat down and read it. And I said, Lord, how do you want to speak to me about this? And it came to me, casting the net, reeling in holistic health. And what was interesting about it was what popped in my spirit was that the reason for it is because it will be a good referral base. Not only that, you know how when he cast the net to the other side, he has so much fish here to pull, get help to pull it in. And so it was, the vision I received was you're gonna have so many people, you're not gonna be able to handle it. So you're gonna need to be able to refer out. And so I was like, okay. But he gave me the logo, and then he gave me the logo, and he gave me the color combination, and new. I think it was Christmas Eve. Ron said Merry Christmas. And I was like, okay. And when I opened it, it was my theme song. I was so excited because it sounds so good. And then I played with it over the holiday and ended up creating a video. And so that was the first launching of January was casting the net. That was adding in guests so that to give my audience, number one, more some expertise in different areas that I don't delve into, and it was also really to, build a digital Rolodex. So it was really for that, and so that's what kind of got me going in that direction. So that was one part. So customer base, you do have those ebb and flows where they do well, and then some parts of the seasons it go down because of the holidays. People are busy, but anyway, it never really stopped. And so, which was great. And so, between podcasting and seeing clients and mentorship and, you know, writing, because I'm working on finishing up the first journal. I have 4 projects I'm working on when it comes to writing. So the first one that I'm trying to get out before January is the journal Experiencing God. That's what I'm trying to get out. I had one I wanted to get out sooner than that, which is anxiety, worry and fear. But I put that to the side for now because there's some things I want to add to it, and I just didn't feel led to release it yet. But the one I'm releasing, I got a co-author, which is one of my mentees, who's actually writing the Experiencing God with me. So it's coming out soon, and that's going to be a really good journal. It's a journal that I put together because I wanted to write it. I really wanted to, you have a journal and you like, if it got this in there, that'd be great. If it got that in there, that'd be
Mm-hmm.
great. So I just put it all together and said, okay, this is gonna be the journal. This is what it's gonna be. So I closed the office in May because we were called to come back to Chicago.
I know.
Yeah. And it's interesting because being back, I didn't understand, but I knew when he had lost his mom, unfortunately. And when I came to be with him for that moment, because he had to come up here before me and be with her, I ended up saying, you look pretty comfortable. Let's go back. You ready to go back home? He was like, no, I don't want to go back to Chicago, San Antonio. I want to go stay in Chicago. So I was like, let's pray about it. We prayed about it, and everything lined up. So we came back. I didn't quite understand it, but I knew I needed to support my husband. But at the same time, I needed God's provision. And so he gave us the answers. Like it was like, okay, you have to be able to transfer. And it was when you on leave of absence, you can't transfer like that. You can't do that. You on leave of absence. And they said they was making an exception. That was the interesting part.
Mm.
Then my lease wasn't over till February 2026 in the office. So they said, okay, we'll let you out. We'll make an exception and let you out so you can go home with your husband. I was really shocked. So during that transition, so that was a relocation. I tell you this, when you relocate and you think about just moving, but you never think about the hearts that you break along the way. And relocation during that time really gave me a sense of like I learned so much during those months that you're not just leaving, but you're leaving people behind. And you're not doing it intentionally, but you have to do what God called you to do. But it's a way to leave. And I had to
Mm-hmm.
learn you can't just pop up and leave. You have to leave well. My son, that was the quote my son gave me. Just leave well. And I appreciate it. And so leaving, it can cost you relationships. So if you don't do it correctly, so I've learned that there's certain things you have to do in that process sometimes to help because you're dealing with hearts. It's not about you leaving. You can leave if you want to, that's your choice. But it's about handling the people that you foster relationships the proper way. And I didn't do that. And not doing that taught me about deep dive into relationships. So that led me into my niche base because I was, as a life coach, I can coach a lot of people, but I finally solidified my niche, and that is relationships. I help people with relationships with God, self, and others. That's important. So I pretty much that's what I do. And I've been doing it all along, but I really had to sit down and say, which part am I really, what part do I really fit perfect in? And that
Mm-hmm.
was dealing with marriage, families, and individuals dealing in the scope of relationship, in the context of relationships. So that's how I ended up really solidifying what I need to do. And then it is actually pushing the envelope, the Lord pushing the envelope, I believe. I'm working on a network group now that's called the Relationship Reset Network. And what that is basically is teaching individuals how to deal with relationships in a healthy way, whether it's relationship with God, yourself, and others. A lot of times we, I'm doing this out of the mistakes I made in life. I'm doing this out of the wisdom that God blessed me with, and I'm doing it out of heart to show we can't live in isolation. But if we run from relationships, and I mean, you could be, I during this walk, I realized you could be around people and still not be connected. And that's a dangerous thing
Oh, yeah.
because you ultimately, how do you grow without getting the help you need from other people? Like us, Ron, you and I work together and we encourage one another.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something we learn, we like, oh, I got to share this with you. But this is growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like I told you, Ron, you got 7 streams of income. Utilize.
You sure
Just
did.
like you told me, just turn on your mic, open up your podcast. It's time. Just like you put me on your radio station. This is how we support one another. It helps tremendously because encouragement go a long way. I never knew I would be even doing anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I say it's learning how to be in relationship where you're, and it starts off with your mindset. I talk about the difference between reciprocity and quid pro quo relationships. Those are two different relationships. Quid pro quo is I do for you if you do for me. That's a transactional relationship.
Yeah.
But when it comes to reciprocity, which is a healthy way of having relationships, that's I'm gonna do this for you because of who you are. That's relation. That's a relational transaction. I'm not expecting anything in return, but I want to foster our relationship, so I'm gonna do this for you. And that's healthy. And it's it in reciprocity. You will see it if you go, you're able to see your relationship flourish and you're able to see how to differentiate between quid pro quo and reciprocity when you are functioning in the posture of reciprocity. If you're functioning in the process of quid pro quo, you will never see a healthy relationship dynamic because the way you operate in your own relationships, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It does.
But that's where I'm at.
You came a long way. So she just mentioned something there because she was on the radio show a couple of times, and I pretty well pushed her out of the nest because I told her it's your time to start your own podcast. Really? I said, really? Where do I start? I open up the mic. She just said that, and and to see from where you were and to see where you are at now, you're talking about transformation. I mean,
Yeah, because when I first started doing my show, every time I got on, I wanted to throw up.
and we do that. We do that, and then I remember what I told you. I said, do it when you are ready. I'm just letting you know you're ready. But do it when you feel comfortable and you are ready.
Hmm.
And when that part came, you were ready. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Martha would call me and ask me all these questions, and I was right there for it. Not once did I get. I sat down there and listened to her. I said, do this, do this, do this. And
Yeah.
we were going down the checklist. I was telling her how to do this, how to do that. Then she said, well, I need to get a photographer or something. I said, I'm a photographer. So she came. We did headshots and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then we started talking. I told her, guess what I discovered how to do? And they said, well, I need a theme song. So while we were on the phone, this is no lie, everybody. While we was on the phone, I did her theme song and sent it to her. And then we went from there, and then we were doing something else. She said, I need an intro.
Oh
So
yeah.
I sat down, worked on that. Then she said, I need another intro. So I think the last I watched one of the shows, I see that intro, and
That's the
I
intro I use now.
and
Yeah.
I forgot I did it. I told her that's a great intro. So see, to make a long story short, Martha has grown in leaps and bounds that I have seen nobody else do this. She embraced what she could do, and like I said in the beginning, it wasn't rough or it was just she was timid, and now she's a pro. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
because I was like, I'm not, ain't nobody gonna listen to me. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, by the way, speaking of the network, just to show you how crazy I'm ready to get out the box. No, you know the show, I don't know if you ever heard of Frasier Crane.
Yes.
Um, the Frasier show. That is one of my favorite shows anyway. So, banking, doing a spin-off of that. I want to, with the network group I'm putting up, first I got to grow my audience, which I'll be doing in the next couple of months. But the next thing I'll be doing after that is question and answers. One day, a
Hmm.
week, in the evening on Thursday, open it up where people can come in and ask me questions regarding relationships. Because without relationships, you can't grow
That's right.
at the pace you really need to grow. Put it that way. It
Hmm.
really relationships give you so much purpose, and I mean real, true relationships where you really putting your heart into it. But you
Yeah.
got to know boundaries. I'll be teaching. I'll be having, you know, like I'll be interviewing experts in the context of relationships. I will also have roundtables. I will have workshops, and I will also
Hmm.
have that once a week where people can call in and get answers. I may even have professionals on, to help me answer the questions sometimes.
Yeah.
So it'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. It's rough right there. Now you know that we both was talking about what we're gonna do, and uh, Martha knows it was rough for me. People don't
Yeah, what are
think.
you doing this
Yeah,
year?
but people don't think it wasn't rough for me. It was so rough that I was ready to throw in the towel. I'm serious. It was that rough because getting things going, and then I'm dealing with people every day, and some of them not too kind. And but I had to learn how to let that roll off my shoulder and say, go on your merry way. But what happened for me was once I talked to Martha, and she was telling me things I need to do. She was guiding me in the right direction, and so I decided to basically started from scratch again with the radio station. Nobody would never know what's going on behind the scenes, but when I started doing things that I needed to do, it started falling in place. So leading up to January of this year, I turned around and changed my whole core of thinking, my whole thing of doing the radio station. I think I was overthinking some things. And when you overthink, that frustrates you because nothing falls in place because you're overthinking. And I found out that's what I was doing. So I turned around and said, you know what? I'm not going to charge for commercials anymore. Because when I go to people, ask them about the commercial, I give them a price. They give me that side eye look. Say, has he lost his mind? I ain't paying that. I said, okay, I'll come up with something else better. So I came up with all the commercials are free. You come to me, you want a commercial. But there is a catch. Make a donation to my nonprofit. And they did. And ever since then, commercials just skyrocket. I'm doing more with that part right there. Then when Martha was here, she let me use the conference room for a fundraiser. And that was a blessing all by itself because I needed more equipment, not for the radio station, for when I go out and DJ do live remotes, because I was robbing from the radio station to do things out there. So what happened is something broke or anything, I wouldn't be able to broadcast anymore. So the fundraiser let me get a new mixing board, a new controller, and little wires and all that stuff. And that was a blessing. And thank you, Martha, for letting me use your conference room because I got that going on and everything went. Now I go out, everything sits in one little spot. So when I get ready to go out and DJ, I just grab that. I don't pick up nothing from the office anymore. It's all from right there. And the other big thing that happened for me this year, I met some key people in key places. I ran across somebody. Now I'm with a group called Fleet DJs, which I'm with the Fleet DJ network now, which is their own radio network. And now I'm part of that network. And so I'm getting a lot more exposure doing that. And that's working out just right. And just recently, let me go to it. I thought I had pulled it, but I did, my bad. I joined this, I talked to this other lady named Penny Owens. And she got me involved with United Front Network. So now I'm on that right now and doing things. And then I met this pastor, Sully. He embraced me. He showed me all what I'm gonna share with you, Martha. He showed me all the things that we could do with the fast reels, like bam, 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 motion, boom, boom, boom. I said I always want to do that. He said I'm gonna get you set up.
Show me that.
Yeah, he said I'm gonna get you set up. So we're talking now. He's getting me set up. So I went from saying I'm tired of messing with it. Now I'm excited about things going on right now. So with me at the radio station is growing because I'm growing. When
And you know what? I think that I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go
I
ahead.
hope I ain't stop you from saying something. But I think I would say, what would you? I'll say, tell the audience like, what is your your radio station doing in the background? Like, I give you a perfect example. Like, I get stats for YouTube, which is so interesting. I have, which shock me, each month have 3,000 to 4,000 listening hours a month,
Mm-hmm.
which is shocking because, but I don't have a lot of followers. I mean, subscribers rather. People listening but not subscribing. So
Yes.
you can look at the subscribers and go, "Oh my God, she's not getting any views." But I say that because I remember you pulled stats,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really shocked at the stats. But people don't realize that number one, your radio station is being heard in so many other places. They don't see the stats.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, they don't see the cost you have to put in to maintain. But the reward, if everybody supported your radio station, the reward would be airtime for them if they actually, you know, just supported the radio station to be, wow, you got access if you ever needed airtime,
Yeah.
access to a person who can help you with airtime,
Mm-hmm.
who has a heart to show up
That
and be
part.
there,
Yeah.
not just with airtime, but the level of professionalism
Mm-hmm.
that you have. I think you should talk about those stats that a little bit briefly, high level, I guess, of how your radio station is actually doing,
Okay.
because I think that's important.
Yeah. Stat wise, it took a huge dip in 2023, and the momentum was there. Then I don't know why it took a dip. I could say it's probably on me because I have to take responsibility for it because I'm the only one that's funding this radio station, so it's got to be on me. I wasn't getting the word out, and when you start to see that it's you and that start reevaluating everything. You look at the numbers again, and so the numbers dipped down to 33,000 when it was right at 40,000. So I lost 7,000 listeners. So I turned around and really not rebranded everything, and now where I'm at right now is at 42,000 now any given time daily. And what really helped out on that was um, certain cities around the United States adopted this station as their local radio station. The Carolinas, Colorado Springs, there's places in Los Angeles, Kenosha, Waukegan, and I think the blessing was for me. I was on WVON out of Chicago about 3 months ago. They had me on their show, and that really picked up. So it's like that's my sister station because we stay in contact right now. If anything goes on, but as of the YouTube, yes. See what happened with YouTube? Somebody hijacked my first YouTube page, so I had to start all over again. And if anybody knows, once you have those listeners and those followers, it's hard to get them back again. So I'm concentrating on that. I got somebody that's jumping in with me right now that's going to help me bring all that back. So I got people out there out of nowhere, just like you said, Martha, that are starting to help me out on things right there because they see what I'm doing. And community wise, I went from San Antonio. I'm in Schertz, Cibolo, Seguin, New Braunfels. I'm all over the place. So when somebody comes to me and said, "Man, you did 3 events in one day. How's that possible?" I say, "One event at a time." and so I'm making sure I'm getting out there, but I'm not getting out there to show off or to show out. I'm out there to help the community, and it's a big difference. When you're out there helping the community will look at you. They will help you out. Now, when I joined on with Fleet DJs, the very first week, I picked up 200 additional listeners by just joining them. And it's of the Front Network. I joined them last Friday, and they're putting together a podcast for me to start doing on there. So I think people are recognizing what I'm doing. And I'm telling everybody, I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for you. And for anybody that knows me, I'm a community person. And I always say, this is not my radio station. This is your radio station. I'm here for you. I could care less. Because people see when I go out sometime and I go see a band or something, I sit in the back. Because I want to enjoy myself. Because I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes when I sit up front, oh, there's Ron G from WSN Radio. You want to say a few words? No. I said words all day. I have nothing to say today. So I look at it that way. And with the numbers coming in right now, there are beautiful numbers coming in. And I really do enjoy everybody who support me. And I got people on here like I got Majestic. She came out of nowhere. I didn't know her from one end to the other. But I mess with Majestic a lot. I give her a hard time. She give me a hard time right back. But it's people that embrace what you're doing and support you. And that's where the numbers come from. People don't realize the numbers come from your listeners who listen to you, who turn around and pass it somewhere else. Like right now, I have how many shares that I have on this show right now? I got 13 shares. That's sharing
All
all
right.
over the place. So that's telling me something right there. I gotta be doing something. Instead of waking up in the morning and just a quick note, people just don't know it. I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning and I dread cutting on the mic. They said, "What do you mean you dread?" I said, "Cause I get up and study what I need to say, but I am never fully prepared. You think you are, but you're not. So when 7 o'clock come around, I cut that mic on, I look at my teleprompter, and then do all this. I'm ready. All of a sudden, it just flows out because it's natural. This comes out. But I'm telling you, Martha, before that mic comes on at 7 o'clock morning, I am a nervous wreck. So that's
Yeah, I used to be nervous. I stopped now. I'm like, you know what? Now I'm just like, my camera went out in my laptop. I had to get another camera. I mean, you go through these technical difficulties. That's what you
yes.
kind of like freak out about, right? But I used to freak out about getting on and want to throw up because I hated my voice, but now I get somebody told me this your superpower, and so now it's nothing now for me to do, and I just have to be present when I get on an interview. I
Mm-hmm.
have to be present because I want to listen to what they're saying and ask the right questions because I don't have prep questions. I just go with the flow.
Yes. Same here.
Because it's natural, authentic, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
really my goal when I interview people on my show, my goal is to highlight them, not me. And so
Yes.
unless, it gets fun when you get something somebody say and then you want to challenge them with it. Sometimes it get like that, but that's a rare.
Yeah.
But they usually they experts in their field. Now when you come into my area, when it come to relationship with God, self, and others, then
Mm-hmm.
I might be challenging then. But if you
Yeah.
say something but I'm respectful with it, and I have fun with it. But it's not to show off somebody. I just don't want bad content going out. And I'm very
Right.
particular about who I put on because of the relevance of the show. So when I do my network, it's going to be interviewing people in dealing with relationships, all kind of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, not all kind, but basically, it's gonna be if you're an expert in how to help people with relationships. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But you're right. You have to vet. I do the same
Yes.
thing. Vetting is good. I don't know about you, Martha, but how I decide who's coming on the show, I make a phone call and I talk to them. If they push you in 5 minutes and say give me 5 minutes, well then I'm skeptical. But if we could talk and we look up, it's 40 minutes gone by. You see the chemistry is there. Yeah, I gotta have this person on the show because I feel what they feel and I could go somewhere with this. Because
Right.
bringing people on the show, you just don't bring anybody on. You gotta vet them, and you gotta vet them real good to make sure they don't say nothing crazy on your show.
Exactly. Exactly. I had somebody come through. I interviewed them, but I kid you not. I remember the Holy Spirit saying, "Do not go live."
Mm,
I felt that in my spirit. Don't go live. And so just record. So I got on with them because I couldn't find their information. Like if I pretty much vetted you if you're on my podcast, I vetted you. I don't make phone calls. What I do is I look at your profile. What do you do? I look at your website. I want to know what you're doing. And so if you a good match, then I send you my link
yeah.
to book on the calendar. This person must got my link from somewhere because they I didn't get the picture of the bio or none of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I didn't know that until I was like, oh God. And when I got on, I was like, it was not a good fit for my podcast. So I sent the recording to her, but I never did live and I never put it on my YouTube channel.
I have done that several times
Yeah.
too, where you can almost tell. And
Yeah.
I don't mention I'm going on live with so and so. I let go ahead and go to my 10 o'clock hour, let the music play, and then I get on and do the show. And I had to do some one time. I put it on, but I had to do some heavy editing because it seemed like every other word was sob and fu and the b
Yeah,
word
that's not the
and and
content of
and,
the
and,
radio station,
and I'm
right?
sitting there telling myself, you can't be saying that. You told me to be myself. Not on. You can't do that. Well, I can do what I
Right.
want to do. Yeah. Then I had one that came on, and this is no stuff. I think I told you this story. I felt like a dentist pulling information out. And so
Oh God, that's horrible.
when I asked him a question, yes. You want to elaborate? Da da da. Is that it? Yes. So then that interview lasted. That's the shortest interview I had. 12 minutes, I think it lasted. And then he came back 2 weeks later and said, how did the interview go? It was all right. When can I get back on? I'm booked up all the way to the first of the year. But, people don't realize
Well, yeah,
the
people
things
don't
that we.
realize what goes into doing these shows, right?
Right. I was going to
And
say that.
showing up.
That's a point right there I want to make. I asked somebody, what makes you successful in what you're doing? You know what they said? Show up.
Show up. You have to be consistent. You have to show up. It
Mm-hmm.
is not easy because sometimes you just don't feel like it. that's just like blackout. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
really, like you just don't feel like it. You don't
No.
because you gotta put on you gotta do your hair. You gotta put your
Yeah, I mess
makeup.
around for three
You gotta
hours
put your
doing my
makeup
hair.
on. You gotta put you know you gotta have decent clothes now. But you really sometimes you just don't feel like it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you something about business. You cannot put emotion in it because the feeling lasts only 90 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot put you have to show up and you cannot make excuses. You have to, unless it's a dire emergency, literal dire emergency. But or you just let the person know, can we reschedule? That's different.
Yeah.
But just to not show up
No.
is not good at all. We have to make sure we show up in business because a lot of times that's your reputation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of times people advertise, but really showing up, that's your reputation.
Yeah. Well, I had um this year 6 no-shows, and I had it ready to go. I'm saying maybe they got technical difficulties or something, so I try to cover for them. And then after 15 minutes, I'm playing music and stuff. I said, that's it. So I said, well,
Yeah.
I have not heard from this person, so I don't know what's going on, but we'll probably reschedule for a later date. And I'll leave it at that. I don't talk bad about them, which I want to, but I don't do
You're
that.
good. I don't reschedule.
Yeah, but I
No
didn't.
show, no call. That's like a job.
Yeah, no, I didn't reschedule them.
You don't show up to work, you fired.
Yeah,
No.
you fired. You hired. You fired. You hired. You fired.
No,
But
I don't call. If you didn't have the courtesy to let me know,
yeah.
honestly, I don't. I don't
Mm-hmm.
call back. I don't. I just it's a no show and I'm done.
Yeah, just like for instance, I have the ability to voice track a show, and I wasn't feeling it real good one day, and so I voice tracked it. It sounded like I was live. This person called me and said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "What you mean? You weren't live today." I said, "I know. I wasn't feeling good today." Well, we could tell. I said, "How can you tell?" But they didn't hear the live time about what time it is, the weather. See, they look at things like
Oh,
that.
so they looking at you.
Yeah,
That's when you know. Because one time I didn't come on, and somebody said, "What you doing?" This was in the beginning stages. That's how I knew consistency was important because I was
right.
like, "Anybody listening? If I don't show up, they ain't gonna know." I had so many calls like, "You didn't come on at 8. You didn't come on at the time you supposed to come on." I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, they actually listening."
Yeah, and it's amazing that you think nobody listening, but they are.
They really are. And
Yeah.
that's why I said the stats, the listening stats
Yeah.
tell everything. It doesn't, I thought, oh my God, I don't have a lot of, now I do want subscribers because if I had subscribers, I get paid every month because I have the
Yeah.
listening. I have the
Hmm.
listening. I met the requirement.
Yeah. And that's
Every
that's
month I'm meeting the requirement.
yeah.
I just need you need 500 followers now, I think
Hmm. Yes.
and 3,000 listen outs. I hit 40, I think 4,200 last month.
Yeah.
It was like congratulate every time I get that and it tell me which show had the most views and I'm like,
Exactly.
wow.
And then you go to that thing about subscribers. You got everything else up for that right
And you're
there.
like, wait a minute, where y'all at? Nobody subscribed. And
Well, see, with
I
me,
think what it is because you have to log on, put a password in, and you gotta have a YouTube account,
yes, and
and I
that
think
part,
that may
and
be
nobody want to do that.
the roadblock
Hmm.
in subscribers, but the listening I have. So the
Yeah,
subscribers I'll get, I just said, hey,
it's
I
coming
just wait.
along.
It's
It's
coming.
coming. It's coming. Just like with me with on Facebook, we can't find you. I said, well, there's this thing called follow and like. What do you mean by
Yeah.
if you follow me, every time I go live, you get a notice. And sometimes it's hard to find me if you just scrolling through trying to find me. I found that out. So my following start is picking up because people realize they have to follow. But on that part
Right.
right there, you don't have to worry about luck. You already got a Facebook account.
Right.
You already have all that. But the deal is in getting people to start following you, especially on YouTube. That is so difficult. But There may be a light at the end of the rainbow on that one. I'll share that with you once I find out it's gonna work for me. I got this guy.
Okay.
I got this guy that told me, he said I can turn around, I can help you out, and you be at 500 plus listeners in a month. And I said, well, I'm waiting for that. Don't
Well,
tell me.
somebody told me I need to do shorts, and so I just have to have the time to do it.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing shorts, but I only picked up maybe 10 extra subscribers doing that. But like you
Oh,
said,
wow.
they got to log in and have an account in order to subscribe to you. You can hit subscribe with that button, and if you're not on an account with on YouTube, then
You gotta log in,
you got to
yeah.
log. Which
And that's where it stops.
yeah, see, but you have to have a YouTube. You have to have a Gmail account. Okay,
Yes,
let me
that's the
get that out
key.
to everybody. You have to have
Gotta
a
have a
Gmail
Gmail account.
account,
Yeah. And
and
that's the problem.
yes. So if you have
Especially
a
if you got an Apple phone.
yeah, Android, you come with one
And most
automatically.
people have Apple phones.
Yeah, but you got to do a Gmail account, which is free. And once you do that, your Gmail account is associated with your YouTube account.
Yes.
So look at
And so
us.
yeah,
Yeah, look at us getting everybody what to do. So y'all make sure y'all get a Gmail account and follow me and Martha. Subscribe
help
to our
us out.
channel. Yeah, help us out.
We need subscribers
We
and
sure
followers.
do. You know what, Martha? We
Yeah.
need we needed this to get this out. Let everybody know what's going on. Now we're educating everybody on all that and everything. So I really do appreciate you coming back on the show because it's been a minute for us to talk like this.
I know. Just wait, next month I got a good one for you.
Uh-oh, there she go. She been having some good ones
Um,
for me. Oh, I want to remind everybody, if you're listening out there, here in Bear County is the first day of early voting. So make sure you get out and vote here in Bear County in Texas. And what's at stake here is amendments to the Constitution. And we got other things that's going
Please
on
go
there.
out.
So read it real good. I got it broken down in details. I got it set up. You can see the pros and cons, and you make your own decision. So I can only give you so much, but make sure you get out and vote. Okay, that's my um what I call that, free publicity or something for voting. Martha, before we leave, tell everybody how they get a hold of you.
Just go to my website, complete the letter N hem.com, and you can book an appointment. You can book a free consult. You can just call me at the number that's on the screen, 210-544-3631. And if you got anything you want to just share, just give me a call.
Okay, so that's easy, and she'll pick up the
Easy,
phone.
easy breezy. It don't cost you nothing to just call for a consult. It don't
Oh,
cost you nothing to just share an idea.
but don't call every day. Thing is free for each phone call. Because I know how y'all thinking. She said it was free today. I'll call tomorrow and get some more information. No, it don't work like
No,
that.
it's just no, it don't work like that. Well, the consult is really to give you like, okay, here's what you need, here's what you need to do, here's the direction, blah blah blah. Because some
Yeah,
people just don't know which
you're
direction
right.
to go sometimes.
That's true. All right, Martha, we appreciate you coming on. You keep on doing what you're doing, and we'll see you next month. Martha's on WSN Radio the third Monday at 10 a.m. right here.
Yes,
Okay.
looking forward to it.
All right, we'll talk to you later, Martha.
All right,
Okay,
bye bye.
bye bye.
Recording stopped.
All right, everybody, that was our very own Martha Rice here on WSAN Radio. And we really do appreciate her coming on, doing her thing. And just like with everything else, everybody, we're here to help you out and everything. All right, this is DJ Ron G on WSAN Radio. Let me see, where are we at?